Welcome back, everyone. As you probably guessed from the title and the thumbnail, we are addressing a story that broke over the weekend. And on Saturday, if you guys didn't see it, of course, I posted it across all of my various social media sites. Basically, the Department of Justice came out and said that they had created a new organization. An organization, I might add, that has not been specifically authorized by Congress. And essentially, they're just moving funds around to create this new red flag database at the federal level. Now, they have a different word for it, but that absolutely is what it is. Now, I have been waiting to see more information come out, like details of what they're actually going to do after the initial announcement, and they just haven't been coming yet. So my guess is they're not going to release any, and they're just going to do the things that we're about to talk about, essentially behind the scenes, and not let the American people know the details of what they're actually doing, but what is going on. So I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, but just know that that is exactly what they're doing. The Department of Justice has created a national red flag database to coordinate all the different red flag laws around the nation into one centralized place at the federal government where people can go to report people. And we'll get into who can report what here in just a second, and have people forcibly separated from their firearms by armed men from the government. And that is, of course, unconstitutional in multiple ways, which we will get to as well. But just from their initial announcement, we'll just read it for you guys, and you guys will get an idea of what is going on. The Justice Department launched the National Extreme Risk Protection Order Resource Center, which will provide training and technical assistance to law enforcement officials, prosecutors, attorneys, judges, clinicians, victim service and social service providers, community organizations, and behavioral health professionals responsible for implementing laws designed to keep guns out of the hands of people who pose a threat to themselves or others. Then if we go down a little bit further in the article, the Attorney General himself, Merrick Garland, says that the establishment of the center is the latest example of the Justice Department's work to use every tool provided by the landmark Bipartisan Safer Communities Act to protect communities from gun violence. Now, just a quick refresher for those who are new here, the Bipartisan Community Safer Act, or whatever the heck it's called, was a bipartisan bill, and many Republicans voted for it. It was very clear that it was a piece of gun control legislation, and lots did, including Tony Gonzalez down there in Texas, which is one reason our friend Brandon Herrera, the AK guy, is challenging him for that congressional seat. All the Republicans that voted for that should have been primaried, though, in my opinion, because it's simply unacceptable that we are providing, in this case, over $200 million for this center to disarm American citizens without due process. So the Department of Justice created this process. How is it going to work? So we're just going to go by their own website here. So say you are an angry ex-girlfriend, you are a angry mother-in-law that wants to deprive someone of their rights. You basically just go to their website, you select your state, and then you click on it, and essentially you can just put in the information to get a red flag order started, the process started in whatever state that the person resides in. It's very simple, and then that really is it. After that, someone should follow up with you according to their website and get more details, ask questions, things like that. But literally, it is you go to a website, put someone's name in, the state, and then the process has begun where you will forcibly disarm someone without due process. So basically, who can implement this? Well, again, according to their own website, law enforcement, judicial officers, and then here's the big one, right? Family and household members. Every state defines that differently. It can be anyone. Essentially, anyone who knows someone can file a red flag order to, again, have somebody forcibly disarmed without due process. Additionally, clinicians, attorneys, and social service providers, which that means a super wide-ranging net has been cast with that one, because social service providers is anybody who works for the government, essentially, at this point. And how would this process work? Well, again, according to them, step one would be the petitioner files for it. Step two is that a judicial officer approves or rejects the petition. Step three is that the court issues the order. Law enforcement serves the order, which means they show up at your house with guns to forcibly take your guns. At this point, you have not even been notified that this has happened. The first you hear that you have a red flag order against you is when armed men with guns from the government show up to forcibly seize your property. And then step four is an ERPO hearing is held. The respondent and petitioner both attend a hearing. So again, at this point, your guns have already been taken for you before there is a hearing. Do you see the problem with this? So that is the process. It's horrible. Everything about this is terrible. It needs to be stopped immediately. Again, Congress did not specifically authorize this center, research center, if you will. and can be stopped. Now, I want to take a quick constitutional peek at this, if you will, because I think a lot of us understand just implicitly how this violates the Second Amendment. It's, it's prima facie a violation of the Second Amendment. The government is forcibly taking your guns. We get it, right? So there's that. And then you have to look at the other amendments, though. So the Fourth Amendment, right? The Fourth Amendment has the unreasonable search and seizures clause. So do you think this is an unreasonable search and seizure? Men from the government show up with a court order to forcibly take your stuff, i.e. search your house for your stuff, and then seizures take your stuff. So it violates the Fourth Amendment as well as the Second Amendment. The Fifth Amendment has what's called the takings clause. I should be rolling these in here on your screen so you guys can read it if you're unfamiliar with these. So the government is forcibly showing up and taking your stuff without giving you anything of value back. That is a direct violation of the takings clause. I should also note that in many states, almost all, I can't say all because I don't know the details on all, but I know the details on a lot of them, many people never get their guns back, ever. Even if they go through all the right steps, show that they were no harm to anyone, no threat to anyone, they still don't get their guns back in many, many states. So just keep that in mind. And of course, during the time that they're taken, even if you eventually get them back, you're being deprived of your right to defend yourself how you see fit. And then additionally, the Sixth Amendment has a number of different things that are violated in this red flag law. And the biggest one out of the Sixth Amendment is the right that you have to confront your witness or to face your witness, depending on how you interpret the Sixth Amendment. So again, the Second Amendment is violated, the Fourth Amendment is violated, the Fifth Amendment is violated, and the Sixth Amendment is violated by these red flag laws. Again, it was a violation at the state level. Now they're doing it at the federal level. So what can we do about this? Well, number one, again, anybody who supported this National Bipartisan Communities Act, which is where the funding for this is being pulled from. Again, it's not being authorized. The Department of Justice is just taking it as part of their executive actions. Anybody who voted for that, obviously we need to work to get them out of office because it's unacceptable, especially the Republicans. Again, unacceptable. Every Democrat voted for it and Republicans voted for it, which tells you some Republicans, kind of Democrats. So they all need to go. And if you guys have people who did vote for it or didn't vote for it who represent you, let them know this office needs to go away. Many of you guys will remember they had the Ministry of Truth that they started in a very similar way. They announced it, they said it existed, and then the American public was so outraged that it went away. Nina Jankowicz was supposed to be the head of it. She is not the head of it anymore because it doesn't exist. So the same thing needs to happen for this National Red Flag Center. We need to get up in arms. And the reality is, it's an election season. Guns are an issue that is not a totally right-wing issue. There are a lot of Democrats, believe it or not, it is strange, I get it, who have guns, right? And they don't want this crap happening to them. So this is a sort of a fringe issue in the Democrat Party. So if you guys have Democrats that represent you where you live, you need to let them know this is unacceptable. And of course, let the White House know as well that it's unacceptable because, again, guns are not a winning issue for the Democrats. There's a reason they tend to not bring it up around election season and bring it up right after elections. So get loud, let everybody know, share this video everywhere so people know what is going on. And that, again, it's simply unacceptable. So I suppose with that, really that's all I have for you. The only good news that we have out of this is that Kamala Harris is the one who's been appointed to be the point man for this program. Kamala Harris has failed at everything she's done since she's been vice president. She was the border czar. Look how well that's going. So that's the only good news out of this, is that it might be completely ineffective. However, one thing you guys have to remember is that when the Department of Justice does something, it brings all the intel capabilities that they have and surveillance capabilities that they have against the people, right? So the FBI, anything that follows DHS, all these organizations that illegally spy on you, illegally monitor you, put you on different lists, it brings that power down to your local police station. Right? So it's very, very dangerous. This is a slippery, slippery slope, and it definitely can go wrong very quickly with very little lubrication, folks. So yeah, that is it. As I mentioned earlier, if you guys aren't following me on all my social media, that is where I tend to break these stories before I can break them down in a full review like we just did here. Additionally, if you like the video, definitely subscribe because I'm sure more nonsense will be coming before this election cycle is over. So hit that subscribe button. If you've done that and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel every week, then you are being censored by an algorithm from my content because I put it up every week. So definitely sign up for my email list at the website here on your screen. It goes out once a month, the email, so that way it's not super spammy or anything like that in your inbox, and that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, Deals. If you guys like deals, number one, check out the link I just had up for the email list, because we've done some other things at that website. Additionally, though, we do have the daily deals email, which goes out every day as the name indicates, and it has 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If it is in the daily deals email, excuse me, on that day, it's the cheapest, whatever the product is, whether it be ammo, guns, optics, accessories, etc. It's the cheapest for that product that I know of anywhere on the internet, because I've already done the price comparisons for you, so that way hopefully it saves you some time and some money. It also has a good meme that everyone likes. So if you guys like Second Amendment related memes, sign up for it. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Again, share the video with everyone. Let them know what is going on and how it can impact their lives, because it absolutely can. If they own a gun, you can be impacted by this. And again, you won't know it until there's armed men at your door there to take your stuff or kill you if you don't comply, right? That really is the end state of these types of laws. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Truly appreciate it. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.